came in to see me. I was playing this fucked up bar. Water was coming down. There's a light bulb above me, you know, and there's water coming down from, maybe it was a laundromat upstairs, a washing machine, whatever. It was dripping on my fucking head. So during the break, I went over to say hi to Rob, and Rob's going, "What the fuck's with this place? I keep ordering these drinks." And the bartender, you know, is not being the friendliest. I go, "Well, what are you ordering?" He goes, "I got just kind of a fancy drink." I said, "You know, you're like in a dive bar." I said, "You know, I'm playing with the light bulb and the water dripping on my fucking head." And he says, the bartender comes over, and I go, "Well, order it again. See, maybe he'll like show mercy on you because you know the guitar player with the water's dripping on the head, you know." So he orders a strawberry lemonade cosmopolitan. He says, "Can I get a strawberry lemonade cosmopolitan?" And the guy goes, "I told you, we're not doing fancy drinks in this place." And he goes, "Come on, you can come up with a strawberry lemonade cosmopolitan. It's got this ingredient, that ingredient." And you can see the bartender's getting really upset. And then the bartender goes, he's like, "Listen, pal, nobody drinks here for fun." That's a true story. We all go to bars not to have fun. We go there to get fucking tortured. Like people, but not at that bar. Nobody comes there for fucking fun. The deal is, as you all know, I used to hang out with Andy Warhol, and he taught me a trick with raw silk. So every day I get up in the morning, I rub raw silk on my hair, like Andy Warhol taught me. You know, Andy Warhol, I'd go back. You know, so it's a raw silk situation. So I would suggest if anybody has any hair. Bill Ive, my famous manager of all time, because he never told me what to do. The other managers had a little problem with me, you know. Oh, they did. Yes, they did. And Bill said, "Do you have a car?" I go, "Yeah, I got a car, man. I just got done working for the government, you know." I had a car called a Deuce and a Quarter. It's a Buick 225. I actually had a fucking police siren on it because I had a guy jacked it up. So I would go pick up. So I picked up. He goes, "Can you pick this guy Tom Waits up?" So I went to 30th Street Station. I picked him up. I think I was 23 at the time. Waits was like 24, 25. Okay, we were young. I can't believe how young we were. So I drive him to the Bellevue Stratford. You know what blows my mind? I black out all the time from booze. I can remember every detail. It's insane. I think the reason that happens is because when I black out, I evacuate all nonsense. I just keep the raw meat in here. So anyway, getting back to where I was. So I drive into the Bellevue Stratford. As I'm opening the trunk to get his stuff out, to make a long story longer, by the way, I said to Tom, I go, because he looked kind of rough, I go, "Dude, listen. You need any drugs or shit, I can get them," right? Like, I forgot to endear myself to this guy I just met. I don't even know him. He could have been a fucking cop, you know? Bill Ive setting up his future client to go to jail, right? That's how things work in showbiz. You never know what the fuck's happened. So that is one good thing when I've gone into prisons to play. There was always somebody in there fucking knew me. Oh, Kweder's here, fuck. We're drinking at Doobies. What the fuck happened? Armed robbery, okay. So anyway, before you know it, I'm driving Tom. Every time Tom's in Philly or New Jersey or New York or Boston, I get the phone call from Bill, you know, "Can you, get the car together and pick up Tom?" So I pick him up. So after a while, I got to be really kind of lackadaisical. And I don't know if you guys know this, but when you're doing gigs, when Tom Waits is doing gigs at like a college or some venue, there's usually a backstage with pretzels and orange juice and vodka and beer and wine, and maybe somebody has some drugs, right? So I was taking some poetic license. After about 7 or 8 trips with Tom, I started getting a little bit, very relaxed. I started getting fucked up on the job. I'm the driver. But I had my buddy Artie with me sometimes. He was sober. So sometimes Artie would drive Tom, Artie Tripp, who we love Artie Tripp. Yeah. In fact, I'm dedicating this press conference to Artie Tripp because he was there at the beginning with me when we were vandalizing the city with like $10,000 worth of Carnation mug. He was at the Artie Tripp, So Artie, being my right-hand man, like knowing I had a drinking problem, he would end up driving Tom, But then one time, Artie doesn't show up. I get fucked up. And then I wake up in the back seat and fucking Waits is driving me, So what happened is that like he was cool with it, but again, I had to get him somewhere again. Artie didn't show up, and I woke up again in the back seat. And then he said, "Take care, friend." Like he drove to where we had to go, and he's gone, "Bye-bye." This motherfucker fired me for drinking. Tom Waits, So I'll use those words. Elon Musk used to be my barber. I worked at a place called the Palladium, University of Pennsylvania, 3601 Locust Walk. Way back for years I was there. In the early 90s, I had a barback. All I remember, his name was Elon, but as he became famous, years ago, I found out it was Elon Musk. I didn't know it at the time because he was young, but he went to school there, and he was my barback briefly. And then the guy who invented Venmo, which is tied in with Elon, he used to open up for me and Mark Teague. Okay, Dr. Bones is a witch doctor that has been advising me in my life for almost 4 decades. He's a close friend. Anytime I would move, which would be pretty frequently, he would come into my house and try to he would suck out all the bad spirits from the closets and in the basement. But the most important thing that he did with me over the years is that I have had many bands, and quite often a lot of guys would be ridiculously late for rehearsal or gigs. So I asked him to please put some spells on these musicians that show up late, and that's who Dr. Bones is. In fact, I saw him a few weeks ago, and he gave me this voodoo doll right here. So thank you, Dr. Bones. He is a real person. He is a real person. I'm not making up. And he did put spells on people. Yeah. What do I think of the French Revolution? It's too early to tell. Well, right now Taylor Swift blows him right the fuck out of the water. The only difference between Taylor Swift and Bob Dylan is that Bob Dylan was a pioneer in what he did. Taylor Swift's not a pioneer, but she writes better songs. Actually, first of all, I don't eat anything that comes out of the ocean. Like number one, dead serious. You could put a lobster in front of me, like from the greatest store in the world. You'd have to pay me at least $1,000 to even try it. Okay. Nothing from the ocean. Nothing that's man-made like spaghetti or ravioli or kibasi that ends in a vowel. I will not eat anything that's man-made and ends in a vowel. Not kidding. If it comes out of the ground like broccoli or potato, I'll do it. If it's man-made, ends in a vowel, I will not eat it. I consider things like that reverse foods. Now, the forward foods are things that end in consonants that are made by men, people. And anything that kind of disrupts the saliva in your mouth, causes like a civil war in your mouth, like super hot peppers or raw garlic. I live on that stuff, I really do. Like anything that makes your body hurt. If you can hurt your mouth, you're doing good, I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm serious. So I live on that. My girlfriend, talking earlier today, she was just talking about some kind of crazy powder I put on food that it's like if I just sprinkled in the air, it's like poison gas. It's like World War II. You're in the fucking trenches and shit. And then I'm like breathing it in. Fuck it, man. So that's my answer to that question, and a convoluted answer, So that's your story, And there's more to it when I went to the Academy of Music to go see him years later. I don't know if you want to hear that, but okay. All right, ready? Okay, ready for this one? This is really humiliating. So like 5 or 6 years go by. I'm doing real well. Oh, actually, I was doing real well, and then my career burned and crashed, and I was back working at the government, right? Like 1983, it's fucked up. I got to go back after I told everybody they're a bunch of jerk-offs. I'm going to be a millionaire in a couple years. I'm back working next to these motherfuckers. And they're like, they're giving me a fucking hard time. And they're not even letting me do food stamps anymore. I'm helping people heat their houses. This is another fucking thing, right? So people call me, Mr. My name is weird. Mr. Hello? Is Mr. Keters there? I got his fucking Keters right there, motherfucker. So they couldn't pronounce my name. Nobody could. So that was my clients. I love my clients. So anyway, where was I? So anyway, Tom Waits, he's playing the Academy music. I'm getting off this Friday night. I had my eye on this girl. So I thought I'd take her out for a date, and I go, hey, I got a surprise for you. I'm going to blow your mind. Let's go see Tom Waits. And I got a really big surprise for you, like after the show. Like assuming that Tom forgot about the fucking driving me around, right? So we're watching a show, and I'm going, yeah, we're going to go backstage. We're going backstage. So next thing, the show's over. So then we go to the side. I know the Academy Music real well for other, used to buy drugs there. So it's a great place. Nobody thinks it's going to take place there, right? So perfect. And also to deal drugs. When it's like raining and snowing and shit, best drug dealing weather. Cops ain't stopping you over in a fucking sleet and shit, right? So I'm there. And we go backstage, and you ever see The Wizard of Oz where they're knocking on thing, and the door opens, the guy with the big hat is there, right? So it's like this woman, but without the hat, and it ain't The Wizard of Oz. It's Kenn Kweder at the Academy Music trying to go backstage. It's a totally different movie. So they go, what can I do for you? I said, I got this girl next to me, and I go, we'd like to come backstage and say hello to Tom, because I'm friends with Tom, right? Little did I know, he remembered me. So anyway, I give her, she goes, what's your name? I go, Kenn Kweder. She goes, what's your name? Nobody can pronounce that. Ken Presser. No, Kenn Kweder. So she goes back, never comes back. And the girl's like, what are we doing? I go, probably some kind of a glitch in the system, So I knock. It's the Wizard of Oz, the fucking guy with the hat on shit. He said, it's not the Wizard of Oz. So then she says, she goes, what's your name again? I said, Kenn Kweder. She goes, can you spell that for me? So I go, Kenn Kweder. I go, the guy with the car driving Tom around, She goes, close the door. He goes back out. So we're standing outside. I'm thinking, this isn't going the way I planned. This girl's like, was this guy fucking lying to me or what? I knock on the door again. Door open. She goes, let me get this straight. They can't put this actually out. She goes, let me get this straight. I don't know who the fuck she is. She says, your name's Kenn Kweder, right? I go, it's Kenn Kweder. She goes, in that case, you are not permitted backstage. I went from this big to like that big, and next to that girl I was with. I was fucked up. Is it true that I got a nosebleed watching Bruce Springsteen performing in 1974? That is true. I'll give you a bit of context. Up till 1974, I was in Southwest Philadelphia playing guitar. In fact, I was very confident. I thought I was really good. In fact, I was hanging out with this guy, Vietnamese guy, that I met in West Philly. And he knew I was good, but he knew I was crazy. And he once said to me, he goes, Kenn Kweder. He said, what you want to be? Worldwide rock and roll star or Southwest Philadelphia freak? And I said, rock and roll, the fucking world famous Kenn Kweder, He was dead serious because he thought I was fucking nuts. He's going, he's basically saying, get it together, right? So getting back to your answer, when I was a Bruce Springsteen fanatic from 1973, so when he was coming to Philly in 1974, I went to go see him at the Main Point in Bryn Mawr. And he was so good. Now you have to understand, I went in there going, this motherfucker can't be that good. He's nowhere as good as me, right? And I'm not kidding. So I went in, and he was so good. He just kept blowing me away, song after song, that before the show was over, my blood pressure just my nose exploded in blood. That's a true story. I just couldn't believe anybody's that good at that time. But then guess what? I'm catching up.